evening. You're watching Left, Right and Centre. I'm Nidhi Razdan. On the program tonight, a new row over International Yoga Day that's supposed to be celebrated on the 21st of June. This time over a letter written by the University Grants Commission to Vice Chancellors across the country, asking them to follow the common yoga protocol during the Yoga Day celebrations that has been assigned by the Ayush Ministry. That includes saying a prayer at the beginning and chanting Om. Also asking the universities to ensure that students and teachers participate in Yoga Day celebrations and to ensure that these activities take place in affiliated colleges as well. The big debate has already started with the opposition accusing the government of trying to make this compulsory. The government says it's not.
Yoga in a twist again. This time it is because of this letter issued by the University Grants Commission to heads of colleges. The letter asks for their personal indulgence to ensure that Om is chanted and some Vedic mantras are recited before yoga is done. The 45-minute session will begin with a 2-minute prayer and conclude with 15 minutes of meditation. The opposition alleges this is the BJP government pushing its Hindutva agenda.
The government should have applied their minds properly and it should have been refashioned in such a way that it should be acceptable to wider sections of the society.
देखिए इंटरनेशनल योगा डे पर अगर इस तरह का आयोजन है, मैं नहीं इसको गलत समझता। नस्बत उसमें अनिवार्यता ना हो और उसको एक सांप्रदायिक रंग न दिया जाए।
The centre, however, says that chanting Om or mantras is not compulsory.
आप चले जाइए अरब कंट्री में तो किसी ने विवाद नहीं किया। यहाँ हर चीज में विवाद करना, पॉलिटिकल पार्टी के लोगों को कम से कम एक चीज सोचना चाहिए, जो देश हित में, जिससे देश का सम्मान बढ़ता है, जो स्वास्थ्य से जुटा है, उसमें इस तरह की बात नहीं करनी चाहिए।
आप कोई भी योगा का आसन करते हैं और बल्कि आपके साथ मैं अभी भी चांट भी कर सकता हूँ हरि ओम, बट अगर इसको कंट्रोवर्सी ना बनाई जाए तो मेरे ख्याल से बेटर है। हर चीज जो हम करते हैं उसको कंट्रोवर्सी बना दिया जाता है।
It's not the first time that there's been controversy surrounding the International Yoga Day celebrations, but as the opposition cries foul, the government insists that participation in this event will continue to be voluntary. In New Delhi with Sunil Prabhu, Ketki Angre for NDTV.
Well, joining us on the program tonight from the BJP, Shaina NC, the party spokesperson, joining us this evening from Mumbai. Also here in the studio with us, Sharmishta Mukherjee, spokesperson of the Congress. We've got Sanjay Hegde, senior lawyer and advocate here in the studio. Also with us, Sabha Naqvi, senior journalist, and we'll be joined by Yogi Ashwini of the Dhyan Foundation in just a little while. Shaina, how do you respond to this outrage over this UGC letter? I see you smiling already, but the critics and the opposition says this is a very subtle way of putting pressure on universities to make sure that students and teachers are forced to come and participate in Yoga Day celebrations.
First, Nidhi, let me ask everyone on this panel and all your viewers that if you go to a yoga class, irrespective of where it is and where you go, you learn all kinds of mudras, all kinds of exercise, and doesn't it start and end by Om chanting? I mean, are we questioning every single aspect of every single trainer slash person who is a yoga expert, guru, endorsing Om Shanti Om? I mean, and this goes beyond religious belief, etc. So every time you pose a question and suggest that, you know, is the government forcing people? Is this some kind of coercion force? No, it isn't. Can we force every citizen to come for International Yoga Day? I remember last year where the largest congregation was in Delhi, we had the second largest in Mumbai. And I speak with example where we had over 18,000 people on Marine Drive in Mumbai and in the rain. And at the end of the session, everyone chanted Om and did their 3 Oms and post that sang the national anthem. I don't think this is about religion or any kind of thought, ideology, belief. I mean, if you go to a private institute and you do the same, why shouldn't you be doing it on International Yoga Day?
Sure, but when the University Grants Commission writes a letter to Vice Chancellors and says, I request you to draw an action plan for International Yoga Day, also ensure the wide participation of students and teachers, and keeping in view the importance of yoga, I request your personal indulgence in celebrating Yoga Day in your esteemed university in a befitting manner. That's like a really nice way of saying, do it.
No, it's not. No force, no coercion. Whoever wants to participate, you must. Whoever doesn't, it's their prerogative. But at the same time, it's a request that if we're talking about a cohesive movement of yoga, and we're talking about International Yoga Day, which is not limited to just India, where world over you have participating partners. Tell me, somebody doing yoga in New York or in Israel, do they know what the Om chanting is? They do it because they believe that that is yoga.
The question is whether there is pressure to make college students do it. The question is whether there's pressure. Sabha wants to come in on that point because there are two aspects.
I'm coming to that as well. I'm addressing both the
I'm coming to you, Shaina. One second. I just want to ask Sabha on this question of chanting of Om. Is too much being made out of it? Because to some extent, you know, Shaina has a point. I mean, people do chant when they do yoga. What's the big deal?
See, I've been doing yoga for many years. I chant Om. It's a fact. I do Surya Namaskar without chanting anything, but I chant Om. But that's not the point here. Yoga has been a universal tradition across the world. The BJP and RSS have been trying to make it into some smaller thing by giving instructions to practice yoga. Now you're going to promote something which doesn't need to be promoted, which is a universal practice in India. You know, so in a sense, they are diminishing the original idea of yoga by making it about party instructions, by then making it about government instructions. And the other issue is the BJP should be very, very careful about instructions to universities at this point. But it is indeed true. I'm not a representative of everyone. There are some people who think that the Om chanting violates their religious rights. There are indeed those people who do that. So we have to a very, very universal, holistic tradition. What is Surya Namaskar? It's a series of cardiovascular exercises which is accompanied by some shloka chanting. So, you know, you're making it universal. You're taking something which is huge, vast and grand and making it into a small, petty thing. The RSS and the Bharatiya Janata Party do not own yoga. I know they've been trying to get a larger sense of...
Mr. Mukherjee, what's wrong? All right, they don't own yoga, but what's wrong with promoting yoga? Because now you do have International Yoga Day, the 21st of June. It's recognized as International Yoga Day. It's in a way India's assertion of its soft power to the rest of the world. Is there anything wrong with that?
Firstly, let me tell you that yoga did not need Mr. Modi to come and promote itself. You know, even before Mr. Modi came to power, yoga is a world heritage, I would say. You know, it is one of the living traditions which has been adopted, accepted by the whole world. You know, just a cursory search through net would tell you that you have yoga schools spread all across and they have been running for years. But only thing, you know, I would like to say, and I would take a cue from what Shaina NC had said, that yes, it is more or less, you know, it's a tradition to chant Om before and after yoga. It's not compulsory, but yes, we do it. So when it is already done, then where is the need for the government, you know, to send such a letter? Where is the need for that? Because it's already done. So why to, you know, make it, I mean, I would say these people are doing the greatest, you know, injustice, disservice to Hinduism, to yoga and to a most sacred chant of Hinduism, of Om, you know, by unnecessarily broiling into a controversy.
It's like claiming Ambedkar and various things.
Shaina, would you like to respond to that? Because you have the UGC letter that then has the yoga protocol attached to it that talks about what everyone has to do and the protocol that has to be followed, including the chanting of Om. Why should the HRD ministry get into this at all? That's the basic question.
First, I don't think that we have taken the absolute stakehold to try and suggest that we are the only ones promoting yoga. But clearly, our Prime Minister has taken it on as an issue to promote something that belongs to India, almost to the international platform where people are discussing yoga world over. I think it's something to be proud of.
You mean they were not doing it
that
last
was
year?
happening
No, I want to say,
many years.
Are you suggesting they were not doing it before last year?
Before 2 years, it has been happening.
Let her make a point.
Are you saying they were not doing it before last year? I mean, that's really amazing that you should imagine that nobody was doing so.
No, but
you know,
just to play the devil's advocate here, I don't think there's anything wrong if the government is trying to promote something which has sort of come from India and that the world is following. Shaina.
Nidhi, I said at the outset that it's not as if we have the sole territory rights for yoga. We want people to participate, and we're only promoting through a legitimate mean where they write to all the institutes saying that teachers and students must celebrate International Yoga Divas the way it has been done, and only in a larger participation. Now, is that not the prerogative of the party, or of the government? If there is something which suggests that we should not be doing it, or we're promoting a BJP ideology, I can understand that, but what are we saying? We're saying that teachers and students, please come out in large numbers. We request you to participate in Yog Divas, and this is the format that we are requesting you to be a part of. If there's anything over and above that you would like to incorporate, nobody is standing there with a gun and saying that if it is not exactly what we're saying, that you will not be allowed to participate, or that you have to participate.
I'm saying, why not then let universities and schools draw up their own plan if they want to do it? I'll get back to that. Yogi Ashwini is joining us as well, and Yogi Ashwini, you've been on this program before when the original Yoga Day happened, and there was so much debate, about that. But let me ask you that this whole debate about Om. Now there are people, as Sabha said, she chants Om when she does yoga, but there are others who feel that it's something that is at loggerheads with their religion and their religious beliefs. So should something like this be going from the government to universities saying follow this protocol which says that Om should be chanted? Should that just be left to people to decide?
You see, what you have to understand first is, note the points of the Honorable Prime Minister's speech on Yoga Day. He highlighted certain points. We have to learn things about yoga. I think the government is making an attempt to teach us what is yoga. He made a point that commercialization should be out. Very important point. Nobody has yet made this point. Yes, it's happening all over the world, but it's commercialized all over the world. So the government is putting in that right
What was the budget of the last
no
yoga day?
commercialization. First of all, don't shout me out, please. You have to listen to what I'm saying first. You can't shout me out. You see, the question is this: that first of all, they are teaching that you are supposed to do it in the right way, slow and steady. Have you ever seen yoga being done slow and steady? Have you ever seen we spoken about non-commercialization? No, these are beautiful, wonderful points. These are bringing out what the actual subject is all about. Now, when you come to the point of Om, now, yes, the lady chants Om, but who knows the correct procedure and the right way to chant Om?
I'm sure it
is not even Om. First of all, it's not even Om. It's a dhwani, it's a sound. And researches have been done all over the world on this dhwani and on this sound. It has to be chanted in the right way. So, if a perspective is being given of what is right, I don't know why we should protest, what the problem is. There's no reason, there's no loophole in this for us to protest about.
Quietly sitting here listening to this, what's the problem? And is too much being a mountain out of a molehill? Are people now picking at everything?
See, the problem is not yoga. The problem is not the love for yoga or India's heritage about yoga. The problem is the desire for regimentation. Why do you need one function where everybody does it in time for the cameras and does it in an orchestrated manner?
Absolutely.
I come from a family where my wife does yoga. She goes to her class whenever. My brother's American mother-in-law is a yoga teacher. They've been doing it in their manner. They've learnt from American masters at Kripalu and everything. There is no one path of a yogi. What is happening
that is the problem, learning yoga from Americans.
You did not like being interrupted. You did not like being interrupted. Please do not interrupt me.
You can't speak like this. Yoga has to be taught by yogis, not by Americans. You have to understand that. And the problem lies there. That is where the problem lies. That is where the problem lies. We want to learn everything from America. We have studied a bit of American education. And we think everything is great. No, let's talk about what yoga is all about. Let's talk about what yoga is all about. Yes, we are wrong. This is what the Prime Minister is trying to teach us.
Yoga is just one second.
Yoga is not to be followed by Americans.
Take a deep breath. Babaji, you need to take a deep breath.
The way yogis have been teaching.
Babaji,
and that is what is happening. And that is the very point. Very rightly put, sir. You mentioned the right point.
Are you angry that he's learned yoga from an American? What is your objection?
This is not yoga.
I want the Baba to get
learning from learning from Yogi ji how to remain calm.
Yes, Yogi ji, you're so calm.
We're learning from Americans.
I want to just
American
tell him
people
that I
do
learned
yoga.
from a guru
Well,
of
go
the
to America and
Mungate
learn
school.
yoga, Chandra, sir.
Taking proper
Okay,
yoga.
can we let Sanjay finish his point? Calmly,
Yoga
calmly. Yogi
is
Ashwini,
beyond
please,
religion.
please.
And he
Yoga
won't
is
show
not
any
yogi.
peace of mind.
I don't want to
Beyond
end up
religion,
wasting
beyond
time on the
culture.
show shouting at everyone.
American Indians,
Let's let
we cannot
everybody make
mix
their
with
point.
American Indians. It's
Okay,
all
okay,
same.
Sanjay, come on,
Yoga
let's
is
be serious
done by
about this.
yogis.
Okay,
Not
Yogi Ashwini,
by
I will
American
give you a chance to
Indians.
speak.
We are all same.
All right, Sanjay.
See, that's
I
exactly
couldn't-
my
I couldn't
point.
hear what you said. It's
My
too much of
point
commotion, actually.
is against regimentation, and regimentation at a national level with all the ministries behind it. This letter is couched in peaceful words, but it basically says do it or else. And every Vice Chancellor who is obliged to the UGC, who for his term will do it.